was going to talk about the future of money, and when we were talking about you coming up, you were saying that people say you're a Where's Wally lookalike.
Yeah, I mean...
But also that you can do the Rubik's Cube.
Can we do a public vote quickly? Do I look like Where's Wally? Can we put this to bed?
Good luck. All the best. Okay.
Thank you. Right. As Nima said, I'm Andrew Savory, and I'll be discussing the future of money. Right, let's start with a bit of audience participation here. Who made a transaction today? Any kind of transaction. Who bought something? Anything. And who paid with cash? Look around you, my friends. Cash is dying. You can't put your hand up at the end when everybody's put their... Cash is dying. But please, don't take my word for it. The demise of cash is well documented. But what of the alternatives to cash? And what could possibly prevail as an alternative to cash? Here are three components that are necessary for any successful form of payment. We have efficiency, security, and accessibility. So let's start with cash. Where would cash come on this model? Well, it's accessible to all of us with a bank account, which in this room is probably all of us. However, it is neither efficient nor secure. If I am boarding a bus and our panel of judges are ahead of me and they've each paid with a £20 note, the likelihood is I will miss my dentist appointment in town because of the change given. Also, security. Should I keep my life savings, which, given I'm a student, aren't a lot at the moment, under my bed, and there's a house fire? Not very secure. However, like I said, accessible to everybody with a bank account. Next, chip and pin. Now, chip and pin is more efficient. It is also accessible to everybody with a bank account, which is everybody who can access cash. However, there are question marks regarding the security element, and that is due to the fact it is a static 4-digit pin, which could easily be compromised and hence defrauded. Next, contactless. Now, contactless is quite in vogue at the moment. Lots of people are using contactless. More efficient, as you can use the near-field communication to swipe and pay very quickly. But there are massive question marks about the security. And that is due to the fact that if your card is lost, payments of less than £30 could easily be made quite often before it is found out that you have indeed lost your card. Next, I've got prepaid contactless wearables. So that is your Apple Watch or any other smartwatch. That is just as efficient, using the same near-field communication, and it is more secure as it is permanently on you and you're aware of the fact you've lost it, and also it is Touch ID. However, it is not very accessible to the majority of us at the moment. Hands up who's got an Apple Watch or smartwatch. One member. Two members. So the technology is still quite expensive. Next is digital wallet. So I've put Apple Pay, but it's any kind of digital wallet. Again, secure and efficient for the same reasons, but slightly more accessible, but not totally accessible. So my argument here is, who's got a smartphone? Whose parents have got a smartphone? Whose grandparents have got a smartphone? And therein lies the issue. It is not accessible to all of us currently. However, the technology is becoming more affordable. Only last week, India announced the world's cheapest smartphone, retailing at £2.56. Now, that might seem too good to be true, and it might well be. There are major question marks regarding this. First one to do with the battery. If you're paying £2.56 for a smartphone, the likelihood is the battery won't be too brilliant. So if you've gone to pay for your goods and you've taken out your £2.56 smartphone and it's dead, the technology has failed you. Secondly, there is a requirement that the seller has the corresponding technology. So this is retailing in India. I would hazard a guess that the corresponding technology hasn't quite reached India yet, as far as the seller is concerned. Final point is, again, to do with security. Your card details are still stored on the phone. So should you lose the phone to the wrong hands, again, the card details might be compromised. So if it's not smartphones that are the future, what is the future of payment? I believe the future of payment is in a unique component that all of us have got, and that is this. That is the human body. Who here's body is unique? Everybody's body is unique. Everybody put your hands up. Thank you. Now, it's still in its early stages of development, but there are a number of payment methods which use your body. We have pin entry device camera. So it's kind of colloquially known as selfie pay. So the pin device recognizes your face and then allows you to proceed with payment. Next one is swipe, which uses fingerprint payment, and then you can use the near-field communication, as previously said in the contactless. The final one, which creeps some people out, Fingo Pay, which uses the veins within your finger as a form of identification. And whilst that might sound a bit gory, the veins within your finger are more unique than your fingerprint. I believe it's 1 in 3.4 billion chance that your fingerprint will be defrauded. But this might all seem a bit space age. Whereabouts is contactless penetrating society? I will give you 2 societies where it is currently making its way. One in the developed world, one in the developing world. First one is Sweden. Now, Sweden is set to become the world's first contactless, cashless, society. And that is due by 2030, and that is not long away. At the moment, there are only 80 billion Swedish crowns in circulation, which might sound like a lot, but believe me, it is not a lot. I believe it's roughly around about 8,000 crowns per person, which given all the business and population, that is not a lot. It can be largely attributed to an app called Swish, which offers a wide range of payment methods. That is magstrip, chip and pin, near-field communication, as previously discussed. And how has Swedish society accepted this? Well, buses no longer accept cash. Retailers have the right to refuse cash, and even homeless street vendors are now switching to card. But what of the developing world? Well, I'm going to talk about Kenya. In 2007, mobile operator Savory set up a mobile payment system called M-Pesa. Now, previously in Kenya, bank accounts were very expensive. The requirement was usually about 5,000 to 10,000 Kenyan shillings in order to open up a bank account, and that just wasn't viable for a lot of the population. With M-Pesa, Kenyans could then withdraw, deposit, and send cash without a bank account, which then opened up a massive doorway to a lot of Kenyans. Within 3 years, it was a massive success. Within 3 years, there were 18,000 service locations, much like this one, dotted around Kenya, in comparison to merely 500 bank branches. Now, what you could do with this is you could withdraw or deposit cash here, and then it would appear on your mobile phone, not smartphone, it's not a smartphone. It would appear on your mobile phone, and you could use it to send cash. Such was the success of this, they opened up a microcredit system called M-Shwari, which was a partnership with CBA Bank, which then led to normal Kenyans having access to credit, which they previously wouldn't have been able to access. Now, the ability to access credit cannot be underestimated. It allowed Kenyans to invest money in business-related activities, purchase livestock, education purposes, and medicine, which they previously would not have been able to access. So overall, what is the impact of a cashless society? Well, we're going to have faster payments, we're going to have more secure payments, we're going to have greater access to credit, lower costs, greater amount of tax, and depletion of black market. So let me finish by asking you a question. A cashless society, a more efficient and secure future. I hope you're able to get past the fact that a student is lecturing you on money, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.
Well done, Andrew. Just stay right there because
Oh,
you're going to be
questions.
quizzed now.
Yes.
And to do the quizzing and leading of the question is Professor Adrian Mum.
I thought that was definitely the best talk we've had so far, apart from Naeem's. Yeah, that's very good. And I'm not saying that because he's my student, okay, but I hope you'll be voting for him later on. We also dressed together today. It's the ICMA Centre colours. We only all wear these. I think I'll ask the judges if they've got any questions to start with. Kevin.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Fantastic presentation. I just wondered if you could tell us more about the downside or the dark side of a cashless society.
Yes. I mean, if you're a drug dealer, it's a massive issue.
Don't look at me like that.
No, I'm just... There's no cash in hand. So I said greater level of tax. Some would see that as a downside. Some would see no more cash in hand as the government trying to take more of their profits. So, yeah, there is a downside there. I guess the cost of changing to a cashless society, so coin machines, changing to near-field communication, which is contactless, for simple things such as paying for your parking, it's going to be quite a painful process. And there have been a few occasions as well in Kenya with the microcredit. It's been a great success, but there's also been occasions where those who've got access to credit, who have never had access to credit before, kind of went, whoa, hang on, we've got a bit of money. We can play around with this. So microcredit is great, but it needs to be kind of regulated.
Okay, great. Maybe a little bit about the ethical dimension, people being watched, those sort of things. Anything on that?
What do you mean?
So my guess is that if you are only using your body for payment, then people can track where you are, where you're going, who might be watching you, may you be kidnapped, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I guess with more security, there is the case of more kind of big brothers watching you, but yeah, I do see what you mean. I think it's a price that many people would be willing to pay for the lower levels of fraud. So.
Should we have one more from the judges? Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm Tamsin. I'm very kind of keen on cold hard cash.
Yes.
And I know that I'm older than a lot of people there, but I know that, for example, a lot of people have sort of reverted back from the Kindle to really loving that, to be able to flick pages. Now, I love the smell and the feel of money. And I'm just sort of challenging you on the fact that we, at the Business Magazine, for example, had a tablet version, which we scrapped, because although we've got younger people coming into the business field, the business world, they still like to have that glossy sitting on the coffee table. So I'm just wondering whether that still might be the case in 70 years' time, that we still, even younger people, like to have that feel psychologically. What do you say to that?
Firstly, I don't know how you can't enjoy the smell and feel of a smartphone. Yes, there will be a nostalgia element, there really will. But you could say that about a number of aspects of society. As you say, Kindles replacing books. I'm not sure really.
Okay, I think we've got time for a question from the audience. Any student questions? It's like one of my classes, this. No? Any other staff questions? Peter.
We seem to be...
We've got a mic coming, Peter.
Hi. We seem to be moving into an era of negative interest rates, which is an interesting place to be as a global economy. This effect means that it costs us money to store money in a bank, and if you hold money as cash, it doesn't cost you anything. If that negative interest rate trend continues, do you think that would put the scupper on your cashless society idea?
I think it would be hard to put the stop to technology. I think in terms of governments stopping printing cash and then withdrawing cash from society. I think the negative interest rates will be an argument, a point of argument, but I don't think they will put the stop to it. I do agree that at the moment, given negative interest rates, it does kind of seem a bit strange that we're moving towards a cashless society. But no, I don't think it will put a stop to it.
Okay, all right. I think we're done, aren't we? Time's up, yeah?
We are indeed.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
well
you.
done, Andrew.